Today I'm going to do the tutorial on how to put together your JoJo pouch. I've already prepared my pieces. We're going to be using a foil cotton print and a vinyl. If you're interested in this foil print, I don't know if they're going to still have any, but I got mine at Joann Fabrics in their fabric quarter section. And then here is the UPC with the description if they still have it. So get our pieces ready, and I've already interfaced my scale print, and I like my scales to go down. So this is going to be the top of my panel, and I'm going to take my side panel and attach it to my main panel and clip it because we don't want to pin our vinyl. You don't have to use vinyl for your outside. I just thought it would look nice with this fabric. I'm using a Singer 237 Fashion Mate. Nothing super fancy, just a vintage with metal parts. And then I'm going to use a universal 16 needle, which I use for everything. I don't change it. I also use just regular Coax and Clark thread. Okay, so we're going to sew our panels together at 3/8 of an inch. Trim our threads. Okay, now we're going to top stitch our panels. I'm just going to press the fabric out a little bit with my fingers. Since we're using vinyl, we don't want to iron that. Okay, and then we're going to top stitch along both sides of the seam at 1/8 of an inch. I'm just using a regular foot. Okay, and do the other side. Just realigning it to the 1/8 side. Okay. Okay, trim our threads. Okay, and then we're going to attach, now we're going to sew the connector for the swivel clasp. So I'm going to be using the upholstery, the vinyl that I'm using for the side panel. Okay. And since it's not a fabric, I'm only going to use 2 inches by 1 inch instead of 2 by 2 because it's already a little bit of thickness there. I'm using a double-sided tape. It's a quilting tape that I've got in bulk on Amazon. It's 1/4 of an inch. You don't have to use it, but I find it makes sewing a lot faster. No need for worries about pins or clips. Okay, and now I'm going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch from both sides of the edge. And forget to turn my phone on silent. Sorry about that. Okay. Trim our threads. Take our clasp and we're going to put it onto the connector. And then we're going to sew down 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And that's just to hold it together and just give it a little more strength. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to attach it to our finished panel piece to make it a little easier on the piece here. I've measured out where the strap connector goes onto the panel, so you can use that as a guide. So just lay it down on the edge of the piece, and then you could just either tape it down, pin it down, clip it down. Okay, and then we're going to sew it on here at 1/4 of an inch. Okay, trim your threads. Okay, so the exterior piece is done. Now, I've got my interior piece. I'm using a duck cloth or a canvas just for extra body on the bag. And I'm using the quilting tape again on the zipper just to help save time with the video. So now this here is the bottom of the bag, which will be on the other side and turned into the top. This right now is the top of the bag, which is what we're going to work with first. We're going to take our tape on the bottom, or take your zipper tape and attach that to the top of the panel. And you want to make sure you have a little bit of a longer zipper. So I've given here about 2 inches on this side. We're going to need that for when we top stitch our bag. We're going to attach it to the top of the exterior panel. Okay, and I've already got the other side with some tape as well. Get that backing off, and then we're going to take our lining and attach that. And now we're going to stitch 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the seam or raw edge. Okay, now we're going to take our panel piece and our lining piece and flip them around to the other side of the zipper. So they're all facing out. And we're going to press this down a little bit. And then we're going to top stitch here 1/8 of an inch Okay, so that side is done. Now we're going to take the bottom panel piece and attach it to the top of the zipper. And at this point, I like to open, if you already know it's where it's going to line up right, you can either mark it with a chalk or a pen, or a pin if you wanted to, but I've already got the tape on there to show me where to put the panel piece, so I don't have to mark it. But at this point, I like to open up the zipper, which is going to help with the turnaround bit for when we do our top stitch on the other side. So we're going to take the bottom of the exterior piece and make sure your zipper is faced right and not twisted. Okay, and we're going to attach that zipper to the exterior. Okay. So at this point, you want your right sides facing each other. Okay. Then we're going to take our lining piece and attach it to the other side. So now we're going to have it coming around this way, so you're going to want the zipper on the inside. Press those on, and we're going to top stitch 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now we're going to flip it around. Okay, and we're going to press our panels down. Same thing we did with the other side. Top stitch 1/4 of an inch, or sorry, 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the zipper seam there. And this is why you want your zipper to be open. Okay. All right, now we're going to take our bag, trim all these extra threads off. Okay, now we're going to fold the exterior in. I'm going to zip up our bag just a little bit, to about 2 inches in, and we're going to leave it right there. Now you see I've accidentally got a little bit of extra piece here. That's fine because everything's lining up right. Looks like I just didn't cut it right. So we're going to trim that down so it matches up with the exterior piece. Okay, and we're going to stitch 1/4 inch from both sides of the zipper so the ends stay together and give it a little more extra support from wear and tear on the zipper when the bag is in use. Okay, same thing with the other side. So I'm just using the edge of my foot to line up my panel pieces. Sewing it at the 1/4 inch mark. Okay. Trim all our threads. So much trimming. All right, now keep your zipper pull where it's at because you're going to need this space to turn the bag around. We're going to cut the ends of the zippers off because we won't need those anymore. Okay, and then we're going to line up our zipper with our connector piece that we did earlier. Oops. And it should line up so you get a 1/2 inch from the top of the fold to the seam right here. And you can always measure that. Ta-da! And then you want it to be a 1/2 inch all the way across. Measure it again. Okay, and then we're going to clip everything down, clipper pin your panel pieces down, and we're going to do a seam on the edge here, 3/8 inch. Whoops. Clip, clip, clip. Then what we're going to do is we are going to sew both sides 3/8 inch, and we're going to cut the seams down in half, which will help reduce the bulk when you turn your bag around. And then when I get to the zipper ends, I like to do an extra little back and forth to help it give it a little bit more support. Same with the other side, 3/8 inch. Trim our threads. Okay, then we're going to trim down our seam allowance. I want to do about half. And then we're going to zigzag both ends to help close off the seam and to prevent fraying and give it some extra holding power. And we're going to make sure that the zigzag goes all the way over to the edge to help keep the fibers in from fraying. Okay, I'm just adjusting my machine here. Going almost as fine as I can. And again, I'm going to do zigzag back and forth on the zipper ends. So there's one end. And if you have any little straggle, little extra pieces, just trim those down. Just try to avoid cutting your thread. Okay, do the other side. Zigzag back and forth on the zipper end. Okay. And then we're going to turn it inside or right side out through the opening of the zipper opening. And then we're going to poke our corners out. I like to use a metal chopstick. So I'm just going to push that zipper pull open a little bit more. Turn the bag best I can. Okay, and then poke our corners. And then if you want to, once you're done turning your bag, you can press the folded top and bottom and your seams just to help make it lie a little flatter. But it's going to end up being full of stuff anyways, so. Ta-da! And there you have it. An unpressed bag. All completed.